It is the Sports Lounge. It is number 264. Folks are here. The kids are here. Everybody is here as we invite the folks to join us inside the Sports Lounge this last day of September. There's 3 months to go in the year. Stacking.
Which one?
Huh?
Which one?
Which stacking, you said?
Yeah. Which stacking are you talking?
Baby stacking.
Okay. No.
The one that can answer to compound sentences.
So Noah.
Sure. Birthday, what? No, the December 16th was it? December
Correct.
16th?
Yep, you are correct.
December 16th? Whatever.
Yep, 16th is our anniversary. October 16th is our anniversary. November 16th, my birthday. December 16th, his birthday. So 16s are.
What do we come up on the wedding here? This can be what? 4 years?
Three.
3 years. 2015 is when it was.
Mm-hmm.
Is your wife's birthday on a 16?
No, hers is the 21st. So.
But your marriage, your birthday, and your child's birthday, so you just need 9 more kids who are all born on the other 9 months with 16 in it. And then every 16th, you'll know what's going on.
Well, if I wanted to be like Philip Rivers, I probably would, but I don't want to. So.
Doesn't want to be like him. Stacking, do you want to be like Joe Mauer?
Did he officially announce his retirement?
Well, I'm glad you've been paying attention, Stacking.
Yes, I have.
I
know he had said it was like he was close to, like he was thinking about it, and that's the last I had heard.
He's thinking about it. He'll think about it.
I saw him at the gym, and he had gotten a double or something. He was waving to the crowd, but I didn't know, like, oh, is this truly his last game, or if he thinks it is, they're just being nice anyway.
Well, ninth inning comes out there. Twins are up. Was it 5-4? Thanks to score against the White Sox. Twins end up winning. They win 6 in a row. Finish the season 48-84. Decent record there. Ended on a 6-game winning streak.
Did you say 48-84?
I think you mean 78-84.
Yes, 6 games under 500.
It's the Orioles that'll only win 48.
Right.
It's a struggle for them. So ninth inning is there. Stacking, what do you think happened in the ninth inning? Who do you think? What special thing happened in the ninth?
He probably went to first base. They put him in at no.
I'm going to take one quick guess. I don't think this is really what happened, but the most Joe Mauer thing ever is he started off with an 0-2 count and worked it into like a 9-pitch walk.
His last at bat was in the 7th that Stacking saw there. He got a double on a 3-2 pitch to left.
And the most doubles in Twins history, if I recall correctly.
Most doubles, most times on base, second in games played, the most of these, the most of those. Bottom of the ninth, somebody comes out of the dugout, Stacking, wearing the helmet, wearing the mask, wearing the catcher's gear. Who do you think it was?
I'm going to guess it was
Mike Redmond.
That's a good guess, too. John Lucroy, or Lecroy.
It was not Matthew Lecroy or Jonathan Lucroy. It was Joe Mauer wearing catcher's gear. So you know what he did? He went behind home plate and he caught a pitch.
One pitch, and then they took him out?
And then they took him out. See, because he's got the concussions and he doesn't want to die. So came out. Nobody really knew about it. I guess it was his dad's idea. His dad told his wife about it a month ago or so. And then his wife told him, and they had to convince him throughout the week to do this. So in the ninth inning, he came out as the catcher for the first time in 5 years and caught a pitch from Matt Belisle, and then that was it. Then they took him out.
Was it a ball or a strike?
It was a ball. I think the agreement was we'll throw you a pitch, you don't swing, and then we'll leave it at that. And the guy ends up getting a double. They bring in Trevor May. He retires the side, so Twins win 5-4. Stacking, moments of Joe Mauer's career that stick out to you.
How about the one? Didn't he lead the league in batting 1 year?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and then the 1 year when he decided to hit double-digit home runs, like what do you have, like close to 20 or something? Maybe
a little 28 more? Home runs. It was his MVP year of 09. He led in average, led in on base, led in slugging. He was the MVP. It was by far the best year of his career. 2009. Joe Mauer, 3-time batting champ. That was that year, yes.
Yeah, so I guess that would be what I would remember most.
Yes. Charlie, anything from you on Joe Mauer?
Well, I should have waited and not spoiled it earlier, but watching many a White Sox Twins games in Brookings on FSN with other Twins fans, because I always had roommates that were Twins fans. So often it would be like, oh, got Mauer 0-2. Let's get him out of here. And then, 4 foul pitches and a whole bunch of walks and waiting. It's like, well, he walked. And that happened a lot. And I never liked Justin Morneau. Don't have any great reason why, probably just because he played for the Twins and he was good and I was a White Sox fan. But I would always scream into the ether to anyone who would listen that he was overrated and that he had the success he did because Mauer batted right in front of him and made everything that much easier.
There we go.
What was your favorite part of Joe Mauer's career?
Of the one season you've been alive, sir, for the career of Joe Mauer, potentially his worst season. Your thoughts?
That one? Well, he got really excited, so I would say probably all the times I've talked to him about Joe Mauer.
You'll drink to that.
Mm-hmm.
He was, he had the concussions. What was it 2013 or so? Yeah, 2013 was the end of his catching career, and there was a significant drop there over his last 5 seasons because of the concussions. Hall of Fame career, his first 9 years, Hall of Fame career as a catcher, probably among the best hitting catchers. Just pure hitting, not so much power, but hitting, he would probably have to be number 1. So
yep,
he was on his way to a Hall of Fame career until the concussions cut that short. 15 years, 3 batting titles.
You don't think he is a Hall of Famer?
Huh?
You don't think he's a Hall of Famer then?
It's tough because he was until he wasn't. So I don't think he will get in. I would be okay if he would get in, considering the context and the circumstances of what happened to him. It's an injury type situation, and it's tough.
I'm sorry if you said it already and I just missed it. What was his career batting average?
306.
I mean,
pretty good.
I feel like that's really good. Like
388. His on base was 388. That's very good. OPS plus is 124. You look at his first 9 years, 10 years, 323 hitter, OPS plus 135, hit a 405 on base. So those are Hall of Fame numbers, especially as a catcher. And he also won, Silver Slugger Award 4 times, 6-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove winner. Should have won the Gold Glove at first base last year, but he didn't. And this year or 2015 were his worst years. Just the power, whatever power he had, is just sapped at the moment. He still ended up on a 9-game hitting streak, had a 282 average. His on base was a 351, which is still much better.
That's nice when your bad years you can hit 282. Be like, oh man, I sucked. It was just over 280.
He could still be a valuable piece, I would say, as a backup first baseman. Very good defense. Not going to give you anything with power, but obviously he can get on base. So the way things went down today, I would say he says he hasn't made a decision, and I believe him. But I would say it'd be hard to see him back. He could still play, but be 36.
Yep, that's what I was going to ask, how old he was.
36 coming up, a daughter or another kid on the way. He's got twin girls who are 5. So that's about the age where 5 years old they start knowing what the hell's going on in the world. So I would say it's done for him. So he was the last of the great Twins teams from.
So you don't think he would pull a Derek Jeter?
What's up?
Starve.
What did Jeter do that?
No, didn't Jeter say, yeah, like I'm only coming back for one more year? Because that's when everyone gave him gifts, that year.
Is that
like
it?
He got like a paddle board or whatever from the Angel. I mean, he got all sorts of, like, I think the Texas Rangers or Houston Astros gave him boots. Like someone gave him a rocking chair or something like that. Like Jeter went on the farewell tour.
Then he came back. I don't remember that, but is that what happened?
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, Mauer could do it. I don't know if he would get the same response from other teams. Just because, I mean, Jeter was a multi-time, World Series champion and World Series MVP and stuff like that. And I mean, it's fair or not fair. I think he was just more well-known. I mean, I get that baseball teams would know who Joe Mauer is, but I think that part of the reason was like, the Angels could be like, oh, Derek Jeter's coming for his last game here, and it'd be a big deal. Sort of like with Michael Jordan, where I don't know if, Joe Mauer playing against the Colorado Rockies or somebody like that people would be like, oh, I want to go out to see him for the last time.
I think the teams would do something if he said he was going to retire. But I feel like he's done. My idea is for him to become manager, but I don't know if he wants to do that. How
front office work?
Huh?
How about the front office?
Something more like that. Or maybe if he wants to be home every night, maybe something more like that. He'll be around. I know that for sure. He'll be around.
Well, I just decided right now I want him to be manager starting next year, and for them to have injury problems so he can actually be player manager for at least a few games.
That'd be fine with me. I guess they asked him if he wanted to be manager today, but he said no. He just wanted to play today.
Isn't Paul Molitor like, hey, guys, I'm still the manager of this team?
Well, that was Molitor's idea. Because usually last game of the year, they'll give some bullshit guy, hey, you want to be manager today? Sure. Mm-hmm. Go up there and do that.
And Joe Mauer did the classic Midwest thing where he was just like, no, let's not make this about me at all, when really that's the whole reason that the game was sort of there in the first place, because neither team's competing for anything anymore.
And then just
not about me.
He had that double. His last at-bat was a double, and it was still a one-run game when the Twins didn't get him in. And the announcers are playing it up like, man, you'd sure like to get him out of the game right here but it's still a one-run game in the 7th. You may need him in the 9th. It's like, dude, this game doesn't fucking matter at all. What the fuck are you trying to pull like it's fucking Brewers Cubs here? It's like White Sox.
Was it Bert Blyleven, I assume?
With Dick Bramer mostly, but it was both of them. It was like, Jesus Christ. Twins haven't played a meaningful game since fucking June. Like, come on, dude. So, and I don't know who told them about it, or they kind of teased it before the last out. They said, you want to stick around here. We're not going to commercial between innings. So that's what I didn't know what was going on, but that's what was what happened there. He came out as a catcher, and one pitch as a catcher. So, Charlie, you see it sometimes. LeBron, he stayed around Cleveland, close to where he grew up. Derrick Rose got to go to the Bulls. So there's plenty of other examples of guys who get to stay around the local team. Joe Mauer would be one of those guys. St. Paul gets to the team, #1 pick that year.
He could have gone to Florida State, but I'm not saying he was wrong to play baseball. I think it's safe to say he made the right choice, but he could have done just about anything. But yeah, I mean, when you're tough to turn down. I don't know. I'm assuming he grew up a Twins fan living in Minnesota, so that would be incredibly hard to turn down.
Would have been interesting to see how he would have been as a quarterback. Those Florida State teams they don't really stick out to me. Those,
my recollection, he would have been there like right after Chris Winkie would have left, so they didn't really have good quarterbacks for a while after that. It would have been interesting to see. I wish we had a alternate universe time machine just so we could take a quick peek and see.
Maybe he drops in the draft in 2005 and he goes to the Packers instead of Aaron Rodgers stacking. Come on.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
Joe Mauer could be your most hated quarterback. So, yeah, it was cool that he got to go to the Twins, 2001 draft. He got to go there. And that was the last year where they were terrible. And, boom, they immediately got good right after that draft, 2001. After contraction talk, they got good again. And it was either him or Mark Pryor. And most teams maybe would have went with Mark Pryor. Cubs went with him at number 2. But Twins, they went with Mauer. And then that ended up being the right pick. So,
well, I was going to ask you if you were to look at it differently. I mean, Mark Pryor's career was derailed by injuries, and part of that could have been due to Dusty Baker's mismanagement of him. Do you think, had he gone to the Twins, that things would have been different?
Probably not. Mark Teixeira went 5 in the draft. Other than that, David Wright, another guy that ended up having a little deal on Saturday. David Wright went 38th in the draft. So I don't know if there are going to be any Hall of Famers out of this class, but decent draft at the top where you got, Teixeira at 5. A couple other guys that never made it. So whenever you get a guy in the first round of the baseball draft, it's a
big deal.
It is notable. 3 All-Stars in that first round, and that was it. And they were all in the top 5. So Joe Mauer hasn't said it, but that looked like his last game today. So that was a good little send-off because usually they're either traded or they leave as free agents, and he stuck around the whole time. So, and if they want to, they can retire his number tomorrow. So they could maybe do that. I don't know, next season. So why wait around for that? Other baseball news. Today was kind of a highly anticipated day because there were 2 division races tied, and then the other teams just decided to blow out everybody else. So whatever excitement you had for today, I know Stackin had a lot. You're going to have to postpone it until tomorrow when we get the real goddamn things going on. Ain't that right? That is right. He's excited about it.
Well, yeah, so they do have a 1-game playoff in both the Central and the West. Is that correct?
Yeah, both teams won. Cubs won like 10-5. Dodgers won 15-0. Rockies won 12-0. Brewers won like 10-0. So games were not close. So not much excitement. Cubs were down early 2-0 in the third. Looked like they might shit the bed, but they did not. So I think it's Cubs. I think it's a noon game. So early game for Cubs Brewers.
And Brewers what channels?
Huh?
What channel?
ESPN. Both of them are on ESPN. My World Series pick, Stackin's Brewers Indians. I think the Brewers are the best thing going right now.
I like it. I like that a lot.
I think the Brewers win tomorrow. And even if they don't, I think they're still in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, they're still in the playoffs. Aren't they? They clinched a spot.
No, well, you have the 2 division title games tomorrow. The losers of those play the wild card game Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And the loser of that is done. So
right. So where's the Cubs game? Is it in Chicago?
It's in Chicago.
That sucks. Okay, well, is there not like a tiebreaker that they wouldn't go to? Like, couldn't they have used head-to-head, or were they 9-9 against one another?
Not due to – I would assume the Cubs get home field, I guess, because of that. Are you a proponent of not
Well, yeah, I just wonder, if there's a way to do if there were other tiebreakers that you could do so you wouldn't have to play a 1 game to win the division.
No.
Okay.
If you're tied, you play now. This is real sports, Stack, and this ain't some bullshit NFL, NBA thing here. You play the damn game, Stack, and if you're tied, you find out who the better team is. Okay.
162 is not enough to decide who's better, then you go to 163.
It is quite remarkable. We play all of these damn games, and it still comes down to the last game. And then we still can't decide. So we have to have another game to decide it.
And then it's even crazier when you think about all those games in like May and June and July where it's like, well, let's sit 7 of our starters. So
yes.
And have those. And it's like, maybe we'd like to have that game back that we lost.
It feels like they give up so many games during the year. They just give them up, or there's so many close games that, numerous games every week. You'll probably go through every team's schedule and every week and pick out at least one game that something happened. Twins had 15 walk-off hits against them this year. It was ridiculous. So I think the Brewers win the division. I think the Brewers win the World Series.
I hope so. I like that. Apart from the racist fans, they're they're a good bunch to cheer for. Now, where did you say the Rockies game is going to be at? Is that L.A.?
Yes, wherever you don't want the game to be at, that's where it's going to be at.
Oh, that's stupid.
It actually says that in the tiebreakers. We went through and power ranked where Stacken wants it, and we will put it wherever he does not want it first.
Walt Anderson, by the way, has just screwed the Browns out of a win.
Who?
Potentially. Walt Anderson, the official. We got a 2-point conversion here.
Is this against copyright, Hildebrand? You're our legal expert. Can we be describing the action on the field here? Is this within our rights?
My understanding is you can do it after it's over. You can't do it while it's live and say the guy drops back and throws it. But if Stacken's going to mention an officiating error, I think that's okay.
Well, here it is. I mean, they ruled that the Browns had a first down that would have ended the game, and they then looked at it and overturned it. But I don't know how you could overturn it. Like, it was so close. And then the Browns had to punt. Then Derek Carr throws a touchdown, and they just complete a 2-point conversion to Jordy Nelson to tie it up at 42.
What is with all the goddamn overtime games? Jesus Christ. Like
you have 60 minutes to figure it out, and they couldn't do it, so they got to go longer, I guess, just like baseball in their 162 games.
Figure it out. Figure out who won time of possession. Who won time of possession? You win the deal right there. 42-42 looks like a great game. Marlins Pirates apparently was supposed to play tomorrow because that's a meaningful game. That's been canceled. Thank the Lord. Marlins Pirates for tomorrow has been canceled. For Christ's sake.
You know what they should do? They should make them play at 9 a.m., 10 a.m.
They should. 6 o'clock. Who wants to go to
Pirates? I make them play at 4:30 local time a.m.
Do it. Yeah. Brewers Cubs, don't know the pitchers yet. Rockies Dodgers, they both end up with 91 wins. German Marquez, who's been very good for the Rockies, starts against Walker Buehler, who I think is still a rookie. He is very good. So 2 very good young pitchers for Rockies Dodgers. That's at 3 o'clock tomorrow. 1 o'clock out west, as we like to say. Brewers Cubs. So how aggressive are you, Charlie, winning this game here? You go all out to win this one, knowing that even if you do lose, you play again Tuesday. But do you go balls to the walls here?
That's a good question. My initial thought was you would, because you don't want to then a day or two later be in a lose and go home situation. But you also don't want to fire all your bullets on Monday but I still would. I'd still go all out to win because I would want to avoid the wild card play-in game.
Apparently, it's supposed to be 75 in Chicago, so that's good. Both of those teams have 95 wins. Whoever wins that game will end up with the best record, and will play the winner of the wild card game. So by all means, it could be, it will be Brewers Cubs tomorrow, and it could be Brewers Cubs on Friday or Thursday, whenever they start that series. So that's an odd deal right there. Red Sox Yankees just played 3 games, and they're going to play another 5-game series next week, so they get to play each other potentially 8 times in a row. So that's fun right there. Stacken, how do you see this shaking out in the National League?
Well, if the Brewers can beat the Cubs and get the division, or even if they don't, I hate to say that I'm going to pick the Dodgers probably to beat the Rockies. So the Rockies then will be in the 1-game playoff, and they will lose to either the Brewers or the Cubbies. And then do we know what is it? Who's the Cubs shortstop? I'm sorry. Is it Anthony Rizzo? No. Who's the guy who's been suspended, been on leave for that? For allegations.
Addison Russell?
Yes.
I would not say he is a big part of why you should or should not pick.
Okay. Well, I just couldn't remember.
I would say he is not a significant player.
Okay. So, I mean, the Cubs will probably be there, but.
So you say the Rockies are the team out?
Yes. I'd say the Rockies are the team out. I don't really trust the Dodgers, but.
I would love to see Braves Rockies.
You know what? The Braves would be the other team on the out. I mean, they haven't played well the last 2 weeks, have they? Have they maybe won 2 games?
Are you basing some playoff record predictions on how they have played recently? Or is it a clean slate for you once we get to the playoffs?
I think in part you have to look at how they've played.
May I remind you again, Stacken?
I know
the Cleveland Indians, 26-4 last September, and they lost to the Yankees. They had the 20-game winning streak or the 22-game winning streak. Dead.
That's true. That's true. I'm not basing it entirely because I get that you're starting you're getting your pitching rotation in and maybe resting a few guys to get healthy for the
playoffs.
But I don't know. They just have not played well down the stretch, and I think that could carry over for a young team getting into the postseason. So I'm basing it more kind of off their youth than anything.
I would like to see the Dodgers out of it, Charlie, just because.
I think that's reasonable. I got both the.
Who do you have out?
Well, let's see here. As I look at the standings here, I think tomorrow in Game 163, I got both the Cubs and the Rockies winning.
Cubs and Rockies. So we have Brewers, Dodgers. Who would win that game?
I think. Well, I mean, I don't know if Kershaw starts, then the Dodgers will not win.
Ooh. If he starts, they will not win, given his
because he's not good in the playoffs.
Not pitching well in playoff games, which is just
and the Brewers have the better offense, don't they?
Than the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Why I like Brewers is because the Brewers have the bullpen. Bullpen for the Brewers is why I mentioned my wagon to them. Let's take a look at the old statistics. See what the old statistics say about this so far.
The Brewers have scored 751 runs. The Dodgers have scored 799 runs.
I would say the Dodgers, Cubs, Brewers, Braves, top three offenses. I'd say Dodgers are 1, and Cubs, Brewers number 2 or 3. So I guess slight edge to the Dodgers, I guess. Oh, not a ton of difference right there.
Okay.
I do like the bullpen. So who do you think? I like the Brewers to win the whole thing. Stack, and what's your National League pick?
I will go with it pains me to say it, but I'll go with the Chicago Cubs. And then maybe I'm saying this to jinx them.
This kid, I was looking at the screen like a minute ago, and this kid was chewing on something, and I swear to God, I'm looking at it now, the guy's passed out deader than a doornail. Yeah. I wish I could do that.
He was just chewing.
Is that not amazing?
Some people have that ability, and I've always been so jealous of people that can just like lay down and instantly fall asleep. Because man, sometimes I can fall asleep within 10 or 15 minutes of laying down. Sometimes it takes me like an hour.
I don't.
This kid was.
I don't get it.
We started talking fucking Dodgers.
This is what happens. Baseball puts him to sleep.
Puts this kid to sleep.
You know, he likes the wild card discussion, but once it gets to who's going to win the NL, he's just like, I don't care.
Get me past Tuesday, I'll tell you then. I'll give a shit.
I think he was like, oh my gosh, Dad's talking. Shut up.
Oh
Dad.
my God, Charlie, what say you? Got a Cubs? We got a Brewers.
National League. I'm going in the NLCS in alphabetical order. It's the Atlanta Braves and the Colorado Rockies, with the Braves advancing to the World Series.
What now?
Braves over Rockies in the NLCS.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
That's a hell of a pick right there. Braves in the deal. American League, we've known this for quite some time. It's Indians in Houston. Probably the best. There's a lot of good first round matchups, though. Brewers, Cubs, good. Yankees, Red Sox, that's good. Houston, Cleveland, that's good. I don't think we've seen that before. Didn't see it last year. A couple of years ago, I don't think we saw it. Two teams. They've got maybe some bullpen questions, but they've got the starters, unlike other teams, so they can maybe rely on those starters there. American League's tough, Stack. I haven't made a decision yet. I have no idea. Break this down for us here. You got Oakland and the Yankees. I believe that's on a Wednesday. I very much look forward to that.
We can only hope that the A's beat the Yankees because that would be tremendous. But I do think the Yankees will win that game, but they will lose to the Red Sox in the first round's 5 games, right?
Yes.
So they will lose in 4, and then the Astros will beat the Indians, and the Astros will beat the Red Sox in 7 games. Send your Houston Astros to their 2nd consecutive World Series.
Houston and the Cubs. Charlie, I find it very difficult to pick the American League.
I also do. I'm going to go with the Athletics. Stunning.
Nice.
Of New York. But then the A's turning around and getting swept by the Red Sox, unfortunately. And the Red Sox beating your Houston Astros in the ALCS.
Like Red Sox, Braves.
Yep, the two teams that used to be in – wait, were the Braves in Boston, or was that a different sport that it was the Boston Braves?
Boston Braves.
Yes, the two Boston teams, although one of them's not there anymore. And with all the talk about how people always talk about Boston's racist, they probably would not care for the Atlanta Braves at all then.
They probably wouldn't.
Say goodnight for now, but I will be back.
Okay.
Good night for now.
Noah says good night.
Rest in peace, Undertaker style. There you go.
Just thought of this. Krins, when you have kids, are you basically going to, like, when your kid's child, be like, we need to wrestle each night, coffin match. Loser has to go to bed.
Tombstone on the couch, lay this kid out, break his neck, sweet chin music to his fucking face. Choke slam his ass into the crib. All the moves.
Rest in peace, in bed till tomorrow.
In his crib will be a Hell in a Cell. We'll put a cage on the fucking thing. So much. Great shit. Great shit is what it will be. A very hard time picking this American League. In Boston, I won just a shit ton of games. Houston, though, is only 4 games behind them. Yankees 7 games behind that. Cleveland's at 90. Yankees by all means should have beat Houston last year. They were up 3-1. Boston, Houston would be the best series of any potential series out there. Boston, Houston would be pretty good, I'm thinking. It's very tough. May as well pick Houston. They're my team. Houston and the Brewers. No, I picked Cleveland, so fuck me. It's very difficult.
I know. I have heard this before. I'm sure since you are more into baseball analytics than I am, that you've heard this. This is maybe not perfect. But a nice way to judge how good or bad a team is by run differential.
Yeah.
Look at the AL. The Red Sox and the Astros really stick out. Boston at plus 229, Astros at plus 263. The next highest is the Yankees at 182. The Indians at 170, and then the A's at 139 are the only other team over 100 in run differential.
I guess I'll stick with Cleveland, though, but obviously we know why I like Houston. So Milwaukee beats Cleveland. Then Milwaukee wins the World Series. Never done it. They can do it.
I like it. I got the Braves beating the Red Sox.
Yeah. Stacken's got Cubs, Astros, I assume. He picks the Astros for the second year in a row. Chris Davis, Guy Trelly for Oakland. He hit 45 home runs or something this year. He hit 247 for the 4th year in a row. It's just amazing. It's
not like below. He hit exactly 247 for the 5th year in a row.
4th year in a row. Yes, 4th year in a row he's done that.
Wow.
It's one of my. It's so goddamn consistent. It's one of my favorite things.
In high school, in chemistry class, we learned the difference between consistency and the difference between accuracy. That is consistency right there. Where this is the result, and we will achieve it over and over and over again.
You look at his on base. There's only about a 30-point difference in on base year to year, and there's only about a 45 difference in slugging. So there's little.
I was gonna try and ask if he was like Adam Dunn, but I know Adam Dunn walked a lot. It sounds like this guy does not walk as much as Adam Dunn did.
We had 40. He's had 40 home runs or more each of the last 3 years. He has 48 home runs now. He is 30 years old. He's not very big. He's only 5'10", 195. He had 123.
But man, he's got strong wrists, and that's how he gets those homers.
He does strike out a shit ton, but walks not a lot. So nearly 3-1, about 3-1 every strikeout for a walk. So on base, not great, but slugging percentage pretty good there. So
it sounds like he's Adam Dunn without the walks. That Adam Dunn,
a little bit better hitter, higher average, home runs.
And if anything, more consistent. He's going to get 240.
Yes.
Or Adam Dunn might get 260, but he also might get 170.
You can count again. What do we got there? Rice Krispie bar?
No, pizza.
Pizza. Papa John's, I assume.
Yes.
What else would it be?
Green Mill.
Okay. Did you Chris Davis, the Oakland? Were you in on this?
Mm-mm.
Chris Davis.
By the way, did you say that I was picking the Astros? Because I am.
Yes, I assume we were picking the Astros. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie picks the Braves. I pick Milwaukee.
Houston exacts revenge for losing to Chicago in the World Series in 2005
by beating the other team. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah. That'll stick it to them.
Mm-hmm. White Sox. Look what we did. Chris Davis, slugger for Oakland, is at 247 for the 4th straight year.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
My thoughts. Can I quote you on that?
Wow.
Yes.
Yes. Quote me on that.
Can we get some Las Vegas gambling futures bets on what he's gonna have as a batting average next year?
This is a remarkable fella. I tell you what.
247. The year before that, he hit 244. So not quite. Not quite.
But still within 5, though.
Yeah. It sounds like former Twins reject and shit pitcher Liam Hendricks will start for Oakland, and that could go badly. And I wouldn't expect him to throw much more than an inning or two. So it looks like Oakland may just bullpen the hell out of this game and just go with a bunch of bullpen guys. We'll see if that works for them.
I was going to say, why don't you throw Blake Tiernan to start the game? Or
yeah, you may as well. Bring him in for a couple of innings. Use all your bullets. Use them early. Hopefully the Yankees get a better start than they got last year against the Twins. I think they're starting Tanaka. I think is what I was reading about that. So they've got Tanaka starting there. So that's a Tuesday night game. Look forward to that. And I think your racist guy, Josh Hader, if Milwaukee sticks around, he's going to be a big deal, big part of that. Jeremy Jeffress, another bullpen arm for Milwaukee, going to be a big deal for them. And stacking, I think we're going to see just a lot of bullpen guys, a lot of teams using all their pitchers even more so than last year.
So that will mean that the average game will take 3.5 hours, and Yankees will take 5.
It'll be a half hour less than the fucking Texas Tech West Virginia game from yesterday. So just think of it like that.
My favorite thing, I don't know about you guys, but when you're watching college football, especially at the 11 a.m. hour, is when every game's like on at halftime or has started the third quarter, and then there's that one Big 12 game that's still got 5 minutes left in the first half,
right.
Which is basically more or less what that one was. I think it might have only been like 3 minutes left, but still.
Well, that's what it kind of felt like watching Notre Dame, Stanford, and Penn State, Ohio State last night. Penn State, Ohio State had like 6 minutes left in the second quarter, or so it felt.
Well, did one start a little earlier? Not a whole lot earlier, did it? couple minutes.
No, it was the same. They started at the same time.
6:30. Here's what I thought about that Penn State Ohio State game. First 3 quarters were shit. The last quarter was very good and exceptional. Is that how you saw it? I mean, receivers couldn't. There was the one great catch by the receiver, catch of the year. Other than that, there were a half dozen drops. Ohio State was
there was like the 95-yard touchdown pass.
Yes,
too. That's worth also mentioning. But yeah,
I don't think
he scored a touchdown and it was on one play and went 95 yards. So the excitement of the first half and the scoring was very limited in scope. It was a very small amount of time. I don't like that a lengthy drive down the field. That was the touchdown.
I know one of Ohio State's touchdowns was set up by a turnover where they were at like the 25-yard line to start the drive.
Penn State could have kicked like a 8-yard field goal there with about, maybe 6 minutes to go. They didn't. They went for it. They didn't make it.
Yeah.
That was maybe you miss it there, but I felt like that was an important 3 points. They didn't try.
That play call, though, at the end of the game, woof! What the hell was that?
That was very surprising on 4th and 5 to be like, let's run zone read up the middle.
Ohio State went for it as well. It was a 4th and inches near midfield, 4th and half a yard, and of course they have to snap it in the shotgun because they don't know any way else to fucking snap a football. So it's always been curious to me when you need 18 inches, why the fuck you snap the ball 30 feet behind you?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't get that. So,
well, do you want the answer? You may not like the answer, but I can tell you.
I think the answer is because they can't do anything else.
That's because they have to spend so much time working on shotgun snaps, so you don't snap it over the guy's head or at his feet, that they just don't ever practice snapping it under center. So since they don't practice it under center, they say, well, we're not going to risk a weird fumble right here.
I mean, if you can't snap it under center, and I mean, it looked like their offensive line got enough push at initial contact to where their big-ass quarterback could have picked up a yard. But then they run it and they lose a couple yards, and that was a big play. So multiple poor efforts and poor decisions. So much they spend so much time watching the film and preparing each week at a ridiculously unhealthy level and get up at ridiculous hours to watch film for a football game on a Saturday, Charlie. And yet at the end, when it comes down to the one play, which every football game comes down to like one play, this is the call they make after the 10,000 hours they put in each week. Again,
and not just that, that's after I don't remember who did it first, but one team called a timeout, and then the other one called a timeout. I think Ohio State called a timeout.
Yes,
because they didn't like how Penn State was set up. And then after that, Penn State called a timeout based off how Ohio State looked. And which is, I don't know, it's the basketball equivalent of we're going to call all these timeouts when we've got the ball at the baseline down 2 with 4 seconds left. And they're like, oh yeah, we threw it back into the past half court and had to settle for a half court shot at the buzzer.
Inexplicable. I mean, was any explanation given, or did they just say Franklin just said that was my bad?
Yeah, I think that's all I saw was that Franklin said that.
Like, what were you even trying to do there? I could understand the play if the quarterback keeps it, but the quarterback didn't keep it. And even if he does, he probably gets killed. It's like, goddamn. Fuck.
I don't know. It was a disappointing result. I'm sure, like many people, even though I think a lot of people don't like Penn State, which is reasonable, I think most people who are not Ohio State fans were hoping Penn State would win. I would count myself in that category. Yeah. And I don't know, just a lot of, for me, just personally, there were a lot of kick in the pants score results yesterday. And that was the last one where it was just like, oh my God, this really sucks that Penn State blew this. Because I think they were up 26-14 with like 8 minutes left at home in a night game with the whiteout, which is, I mean, it's not beating like a good Penn State team at Penn State at night during a whiteout isn't like beating the Undertaker at WrestleMania. But it might be like beating the Undertaker in either a casket match or Mankind in a boiler room brawl. Like it's not easy to do. And somehow Penn State slipped on the banana peel, kind of.
It seems like Ohio State has this game every year, stacking, where they're shit and they pull it out in the end.
Look at last year's game against Penn State. Penn State got off to that tremendous start, and then all of a sudden JT Barrett comes alive in the fourth quarter. To me, in this game, Ohio State really, it took them a long time to figure out, hey, we should probably put a spy on Trace McSorley because he kept gashing them.
Even at the end of the game, he was still running all over him. I was like, Jesus Christ. You know what they're going to do. God, it pissed me off.
Yeah, it was something. I
don't know if you guys saw this stat. It was in 4 of the last 5 years when Ohio State and Penn State have played, a team has blown a double-digit lead and either won after having been down double digits or lost in overtime. So basically, 4 of the last 5 years when they play, whoever's up big at halftime or in the third quarter is like, it's like, well, this isn't going to hold. This is going to change. And it happened again this year.
Ohio State has a game like this or 2 every year. It was Michigan. What was it, a couple of years ago? And they were, number 1 versus number 2 or whatever it was. And Michigan, by all rights, should have won that game, but they didn't. So there it goes again. The other game was Notre Dame, Stanford. Charlie, it seems I hate teams, as you know, I hate teams that they're very good teams, but their quarterback sucks, and their quarterback prevents them from being a national title contender. And it seems like
I was going to say, which of the 2 teams are you talking about? Because it could be either of them in that game, I think.
It seems like Notre Dame has solved that problem with their change in quarterback. It seems like it is a significant upgrade in quarterback now to where that is not as much of an issue.
It's less of an issue. I think they're better off than they were before, certainly. And part of the thing that helps is, you just look at Notre Dame's schedule the rest of the way. It's kind of like either Stacken's Virginia Tech Hokies or maybe Syracuse is the best team that Notre Dame's going to play the rest of the year, because USC looks like garbage. Northwestern doesn't look very good. I mean, I guess they did lose a close game to Michigan. I would imagine Notre Dame and Navy will be close for a little while, and if Navy plays perfectly, things could get weird, but I think that's unlikely. And it's an interesting year for the Irish, where we thought their schedule was harder than it was at the beginning of the year, which happens a lot. And I don't know, maybe their quarterback really isn't that much better, but we might not find out until January.
Stacking, we haven't had a Notre Dame team in this playoff era be in the discussion, and it looks like we will here for the first time late in the year, barring some upsets.
Mm-hmm.
The last year, what it was, the Pac-12 was left out, and the Big Ten was left out.
Yep.
So, Pac-12 doesn't look like they're going to have a representative.
Oh, nonsense! You just let Washington do their thing.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
You just let Washington
get the fuck out of here with that Washington shit. I don't wipe my ass with shit better than Washington. My heavens!
If Washington wins out,
they can go to hell. They can go to fucking Rose Bowl. Go to the Rose Bowl, buddy. There you go. That's what I say.
I think it depends a lot on what else happens, too.
Yeah. Because you've got Georgia and Alabama look pretty good, Charlie. So
I think Notre Dame probably has to go undefeated to get in over like a 1-loss Power 5 champ, except maybe Washington. So we'll see what Notre Dame does. And I don't know what's going to happen in the Big 12. I mean, Oklahoma or West Virginia could get out of there with 0 or 1 losses, but would any of us be stunned if the Big 12 champ was 10-2 or 11-2 or whatever? So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a clue what's going to happen in the Big 12 the rest of the year, which is probably good. It seems to be the most chaotic conference a lot of the time, so they're at least on brand.
Oklahoma, Texas is, their defense is good. They're by far the best defense, again, in that conference. And, Oklahoma and West Virginia to wrap up the year. I mean, that's a big one right there. But obviously, I like Texas. I mean, that's a good little three top teams in the Big 12. But Alabama and Georgia, they look as close to untouchable as you can get here early on. Clemson had their issues, and Clemson, they're in a tough spot right now. But it'll be interesting with Notre Dame in the mix to see. And if you get 2 SEC teams in there, if you get 3 conferences left out, that'll be interesting.
Worth noting that maybe the best thing for Clemson in regards to winning against Syracuse, since Syracuse and Clemson are in the same division, it would have given Syracuse a 1.5 game lead if they would have won. And obviously they lost, so it's irrelevant. But if you look at the rest of Syracuse's schedule, it's like, well, I don't know if there's 2 more conference losses on there. But, I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter now. But it would have been interesting.
Do we know Clemson? Yes.
I just wanted to point out here that NFL Red Zone is going off air with the Browns and the Raiders still going on.
They got time stack and time commitments here. They gotta go.
For what? What are they going to show on that? It doesn't make sense.
You gotta get that Marlins Pirates game in. Fuck. Come on now. Come on.
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Is it on a different channel?
No.
No. Well, that seems dumb.
It's not like the league owns that station or anything. Probably not. Come on.
The Big 12, though, I think is the most interesting because you do have 3 teams, Texas, Oklahoma, and West Virginia that are all going to be in it until the very end. So, I mean, yes, the SEC, you have Alabama and Georgia, so that's going to be fast.
And
Kentucky.
LSU. Oh, yeah.
And come
LSU.
on. This ain't Tennessee or Texas. It's fucking Kentucky. Look at that.
You got that strictly for basketball, don't you?
Are you kidding me?
No, he got it for the linebacker that did the Stone Cold Steve Austin celebration after they beat Florida.
Stoops did not sign this personally. I'll just say that much right now. Second, where would you put Kentucky? Let's say you have a vote. Where would you put them? I sure as fuck wouldn't put them at number 13.
No.
I mean, that's just stupid. I mean, that's just goddamn. So I saw one guy had them as high as 8. If you think Kentucky is the 8th or the 13th best team in the country, then fuck you is what I say. I mean, come on.
I don't know where I would put them. And I'll just.
Well, let's see. Are they better than Stanford?
I'm not saying you're wrong, Crins, but I do think they should get a little bit of credit for beating Florida and South Carolina. I'm not saying that means they're in the top 15, but they're undefeated and they have at least 2 wins over probable bowl teams, which is more than a lot of teams can say this year.
The way I look at rankings,
I'd put them at like 22 right now.
That's much more reasonable. The way I look at some rankings for most of the time is whatever team you have at number 1, you think that team would beat every other team below it, and you just go by that. If you think Team A is better than Team B, then put one over the other. Granted, if there's not, a large, vast difference in their schedule, or one team has 1 loss, the other has 4, then obviously. But
that's a great question. I don't know where I would put them. I mean,
like Stanford, would you put Stanford over them? Yes. Michigan?
Yes.
The Browns lost.
Fucking Christ.
They got screwed out of a win, but they should have just gone for it on 4th down anyway and sold the deal up in the 4th quarter there.
That deal. Pissed me off, I don't. I mean,
yeah.
Stop me here when there's a team you're like, Wisconsin, Miami, Oregon, Texas, Michigan State, Colorado.
Stop you in terms of when there's a team that what?
When there's a team you're like, well, I think Kentucky's better than them.
I think Kentucky's probably better than Colorado.
All right, now we're back to Charlie's 21-22. Florida's at 22. NC State's at 23. Now we're getting into the
I think Kentucky's better.
I don't know if Kentucky's better. I would like to see Kentucky. How Kentucky and Colorado played a bowl game this year. I'd be intrigued to see that.
The Buffs making.
I think Kentucky may have more like above average players, I think Colorado would have the two best players on the field, though, with their quarterback and receiver.
I just think people are nuts if you've got Kentucky ahead of Stanford and Michigan and Wisconsin and Oregon and Texas. I mean, what? Like, what are we watching here? What are we doing? So that's poor. Very poor. Kentucky's
When's
schedule.
Kentucky play Georgia? They going to pull that upset over the Dogs?
Fuck.
Who do they play next week?
They're at A&M, which I don't like their chances there. I don't know. They could, but I'm sure they're not picking them.
You think A&M was looking past Arkansas to get to Kentucky?
I hope not. If they play that bad,
I mean,
get them.
A&M and Arkansas are just contractually obligated to play a stupid game that always ends up really close, no matter what.
So at A&M next week, and they got to bye because you need 2 weeks to prepare for Vanderbilt.
If Kentucky beats A&M, Travis, would you classify Texas A&M as their best win of the season then? Or would you like their win over South Carolina or Florida more?
I like their win over Florida more.
Fair.
They did put 27 up on Florida, so that's
it's just amazing that Kentucky is one win from bowl eligibility. I mean, they're going to a bowl game this year.
Very likely, yes.
Well,
So
if you lose to Vanderbilt, Middle Tennessee State, and Louisville, you don't deserve to go to a bowl game. You don't deserve it at all.
How terrible is Louis? 2 years ago, Louisville had the Heisman Trophy winner, and oh my God, we're going to win maybe the ACC, and we just barely lost to Clemson, but look how good we are. And just 2 years later, they're just utter trash.
I like to say I don't want to say I told you so, but I believe I had that Louisville would be pretty bad this year.
4 or 5 wins, something like that. I mean, Kentucky's schedule is not tough, but it's Kentucky. So, I mean,
so they play Texas A&M. Who's the other SEC West team they play? Because they have to play 2 from the other division.
Yeah.
Kentucky, I was just looking at it.
Mississippi State, and they already beat them.
Kentucky played Mississippi State already?
Mm-hmm.
I completely somehow spaced out about that. So, yeah, that is pretty easy. When you're playing – I mean, I think Mississippi State's fine. I don't think they're bad. But Mississippi State and A&M, that's a pretty good draw from the West.
They've got A&M next week. You win that. You got Vanderbilt at home. You've got at Missouri. Then you go to Georgia. I pray to God Kentucky's 8-0 when they go to Georgia. And that's like, number 8.
That's the college game day location, the CBS 2:30 special.
It is at Kentucky. And so it's got all the makings. At Kentucky.
You know what would be funny, too, about that? It's kind of like, when – was it last year when Vanderbilt was undefeated, or maybe it was 2 years ago, and they were playing Alabama, and game day wasn't at Vanderbilt, but they were like, okay, like, hey, let's see what happens here. And then Alabama just smoked them 56-0. I think I don't even think Vanderbilt had 100 yards.
Vanderbilt didn't win a game the rest of the year until they beat Tennessee in the season finale. Although it's worth noting with Kentucky, in 2007, Kentucky started the season strong, and then they had a home game against LSU and won in overtime. And that's the same Les Miles LSU team that went on to win a national title.
So you're telling me Mississippi State national title bound.
That was when Kentucky had future NFL star at quarterback Andre Woodson, who completely worked out and is one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Yes.
How good was Tim Couch? How good was the Kentucky squad in 99 or 98?
I believe when Tim Couch was there, they went like 8-5 both years. Like they went to bowl games, but they didn't win like 9 or 10 games.
Kentucky ends the year at Tennessee versus Middle Tennessee and at Louisville. So 5, 6, 7, 8. They can get to 9 wins. That'd be a hell of a season.
Can you imagine?
Real quick, I'm going to look up the last time Kentucky won 9 games in a season in football. But
can you
continue.
Imagine somehow if Kentucky made it to the SEC championship game to take on Alabama?
Great. Goddamn great is what it would be. It'd be great. I hate them, but I hope they keep winning.
Wouldn't it be funny? Everyone's kind of got this Alabama, Georgia mentality.
It's Kentucky.
And it's Kentucky and LSU.
Fuck yeah.
That would be – dare I say that the upper deck would not be full for that one.
Oh, how dare you! Look at those. LSU would fill up.
The last time Kentucky won 9 or more games in his year, and Krenz and I briefly mentioned this pregame on the before we started. It was 1977 when they went 10-1 and finished the season ranked 6th. That's the last time they won at least 9. Was 41 years ago.
Stoops, leave Stoops while you can go somewhere. Go somewhere, Stoops. Christ, get out of there. Texas Tech
can be the head coach at Kansas.
A bit of an upgrade. Texas Tech almost made a great comeback against West Virginia. They were down big. Quarterback gets hurt, and then they bring in this little dude that can run, Jet Duffy. Stack, and his name was Jet Duffy.
Jet Duffy. Oh, boy, I remember him.
Well, you should, because he played yesterday. He played great.
Yeah, well, it was only 24 hours ago, Stack.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about the 77 squad still.
No, for Christ's sake. Texas
Tech. I thought we got that Snell guy, that running back for Kentucky. He's pretty damn good.
Never heard of him. So, I mean, exciting. Charlie, what do you think of a kind of a running quarterback, whether it's like an Oklahoma-type quarterback at Texas Tech? Because it seems like the Texas Tech quarterback is the, 6'3" guy, tall white guy, pocket passer.
Well, I can give you not a perfect comparison, but sort of a comparison. Current head coach Texas Tech, or the current head coach of Texas Tech, Cliff Kingsbury, was the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M when Johnny Manziel won the Heisman Trophy. And I don't think, I wouldn't say he was run first necessarily, but he ran a lot though. I think he had 1,200 yards rushing that year. So, I mean, it looked kind of like that back when those 2 years under Kevin Sumlin, when we thought, oh my God, Texas A&M is going to be as good as Alabama year in and year out.
It would be very exciting. Trevor Lawrence is hurt. What a concussion, so he should be fine, I think. Kelly Bryant, where do you think he goes? Is he a good enough player to make a big difference? I mean, is he?
What would I don't. I think this is related. I saw there was something that Mike Gundy said from Oklahoma State this week. Was it talking about free agency or college transfer or something like that? And I thought it was related to the Kelly Bryant situation.
I don't know. I got Mike Gundy accused of threatening to bar local and student media from.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Okay, never mind. Completely different. It just happened. Okay, never mind.
I don't know. Just trying to think of places that could use an athletic quarterback, like maybe UCLA to do the Chip Kelly offense. I don't know.
I saw a list of a bunch of teams and that'll have open spots. So it would be nice if he could come back, but that appears to be not the case.
I know a spot, Clemson, because Lawrence is out.
And I think he'll be back. I think he's fine. So,
well, the other thing, let's check. I'm going to check quick on
Arkansas
schedule, because depending on who they play over the next few weeks, which I know it's not the most brutal schedule in the first place. They play at Wake Forest next week. If you don't have Trevor Lawrence and you're starting the backup on the road at Wake Forest, I'm not saying it's likely, but that could be maybe problematic. So depending on how long he's out, it potentially. And then they play home against NC State the following week and then at Florida State the week after that. I think, NC State could be problematic. Florida State looks really bad, even though they won yesterday. I don't know if that'd be a huge problem.
So not terribly, that you can maybe get by with the backup if you need potential. Arkansas, Chad Morris was the Clemson offensive coordinator. Now he's at Arkansas, so whatever that's worth for you. Florida, obviously, could also always use a quarterback. Auburn.
Maybe Mississippi. I was going to say Mississippi State because what's his name? Fitzgerald, their quarterback's a senior, and he'll be gone.
West Virginia. Then they'll need a guy for next year.
Yes. Let's get on board the West Virginia train.
Yeah. Those are the most probably intriguing options there. Michigan, I guess. I don't know.
By the way, how bad is Mississippi State? Well,
yeah. Florida doesn't have a great defense, but I like to score.
Nick Fitzgerald is better than that, though. I mean, my God.
You would think so.
But this is coming off the heels of a 28-7 beatdown to Kentucky. So
what do you know?
I think Mississippi State's a little overrated.
I think we wagered a lot of how good we thought Mississippi State was when they smoked Kansas State early in the year. And each week that looks less and less impressive.
Like, is Kansas State the worst team in the Big 12?
They might be. I mean, I guess they made it close against Texas. I don't know. I'm sure this happens to you guys sometimes. I saw that Texas was up 19-0 over Kansas State, didn't pay attention at all, went to work, took care of some stuff at work, and then was like, oh, what games did I miss? And was like, what? Texas won 19-14? I don't know what happened there. But
a little close for my comfort.
But yeah, I think Kansas State is probably, at least based off of what we can prove and what we've seen, it's tough to say somebody else it would be worse. I mean, I guess we'll see when Kansas and Kansas State play at the end of the year.
About halfway through the year, Charlie, Heisman, you got Tua at Alabama, who I still don't think's played the fourth quarter. He has no fourth quarter stats. He'll be there. I like Kyler Murray from Oklahoma. Haskins from Ohio State probably going to be in the mix. Will Grier. Is that a top 4 right now? Tua, Haskins, Kyler Murray, Will Grier.
I think that's a good top 4, depending on how the next few weeks shake out and how he plays in a few more big games. Maybe Trace McSorley also. Because even though they lost and he maybe didn't have like a great passing game, he still ran really well against a pretty good defense. And then a lot of guys in the Pac-12 that I thought Bryce Love and Khalil Tate before the year. I suppose Bryce Love could maybe do some stuff. Khalil Tate's clearly not going to be in New York.
Is this the most dynamic Alabama offense or the most different one we've seen since they've got somebody who's actually a good quarterback? I mean, that's a real strength for them.
It's the most dynamic in our lifetimes, or at least old enough to like watch and care about football lifetimes. Because before, I forget who it was when they lost to Ohio State, the quarterback then, who was sort of mobile and had a decent arm, but like wasn't great at either. And then, Jalen Hurts could run well, but could not throw well. And basically all the other guys they had were, okay pocket passers who they wouldn't lose the game. And they just try to suffocate you to death with their defense like an anaconda. But Tua's the first guy that can, like, in addition to being a dynamic runner, can also throw really well too. And I mean, I'm sure I would like to see how he plays on the road against some good defenses this year, but he looks far and away the best quarterback we've seen there in a long, long, long time.
Blake Sims.
I think he was.
That's fine.
He was decent. He could kind of run. And that was when Lane Kiffin was there,
Tua.
so they just throw it up to Amari Cooper every 4 plays.
Like Tua looks like a legitimate NFL type prospect guy, so that's what.
Yeah, he's not going to be fun to try to stop for however long he's in the SEC.
Well, he's 6'1". What is he? A sophomore, so he's got a couple years left. So it's pretty good for them right there. So thought the week it was a good week. One of the games, at least Ohio State, Penn State, that was at least worth keeping tabs on. Next week doesn't look like a whole lot. I think stacking Virginia Tech's going to win against Notre Dame.
I mean, I sure didn't think they were going to win with Josh Jackson out yesterday.
Is he back, or is he never coming back, or is he done for the year?
They didn't. They don't have a definitive time frame on him. I don't think. I don't think he's done for the year, but I mean, they went into Duke and just spanked the living
crap. Defense was good. Texas and Oklahoma, big game at 11 a.m. Cotton Bowl. It's very exciting, Charlie. You got the offense versus the defense. Texas, they've upset them a time or two recently.
So yeah, the last few years, Oklahoma's been a heavy favorite, has either lost or had to hold on to win. This is the first time where it looks like it's even. And unfortunately, at times when it looks like it's even and Texas has a chance, we've seen it where, not when Bob Stoops was the head coach, that Oklahoma would win 60-15. Hopefully that's not the case, and it's actually entertaining.
Something that will not be entertaining, I guarantee it, is LSU Florida. That will be just as dog shit as you could imagine. It's got to be.
Not the Las Vegas over-under, but what you legitimately think will happen. What would you put the over-under at in that game?
30?
Yeah, I was going to say like 27.5, expecting like a 14-9 game.
It's not great. Not great. Yeah, Notre Dame, Vatech.
Whichever team makes their field goals in LSU Florida is the team that's going to win.
Not a great week for the football.
I don't know where College Game Day is going to be next week.
Notre Dame, Virginia Tech.
Well, I know that's the Saturday night primetime game, but
that's where where else would they be? Texas, I guess.
They don't always go to the they're not always at the school that they're broadcasting the game from.
It's either that or the Cotton Bowl. One of the two.
I don't know.
Slim pickings.
I don't know. Maybe they'll. Who has the Cotton Bowl? Is it Fox?
I don't know.
Let's check it out. Are we even going to mention that SCSU shit the bed yesterday?
Oh, come on, Zach. Come on.
I don't know really what happened in that game because I was watching the Nebraska-Purdue game. I saw that they were up 7-0 and then that they were down. It was either tied at 7 or they were down 14-7. And then I didn't see anything else till I saw the final score that they lost. It was 21-17.
Mm-hmm.
How would you quantify shitting the bed?
Oh, I don't know. Giving up 3rd and 21, multiple third downs on the final drive. I mean, they had number 90, on an option. He takes the running back, who's going to run right into a pile and not pick up a first down, and allows Easton Stick to go outside and pick up a first down there to end the game. I mean, they're defensively far better than they have been in previous years, but I don't get how you can be so bad on third down defense against this team.
Maybe I'm just saying this because I've been watching Nebraska, who's looked putrid the last 2 weeks. I would say South Dakota State playing at North Dakota State in the regular season, where they've not universally, but generally been pretty bad there for the most part, that they didn't lose 31-7 like we've seen so many times, that it's at least like, hey, keep playing, get a bye in some home games in the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens. Like, I'm not saying that they're going to win the national title. I think they're good enough to be like last year, though, where they're in the last, one of the last 4 teams. They can get to that point.
Shitting the bed may have been too harsh, but a
game they should have won.
Yeah, and they played at North Dakota State a lot tougher than I even thought they could, that they might have. But when you have a chance to get up 14-0 or at least 10-0, you can't throw a pick in the end zone like Christian did. That totally swung momentum there. And then when you have that touchdown lead, you got to come up with a stop, and defense just couldn't stop Easton Stick running it. But for all this talk about Easton Stick potentially being a draftable quarterback,
we'll go number 2 to the Chargers.
Taron Christian looks way better than he does.
Yeah.
But
I suppose.
We'll see. I mean, SCSU, I think, is clearly the 3rd or 4th best team in the country.
Only behind James Madison and North Dakota State.
That's a Duke.
You know what? At this point, I wouldn't even say necessarily that they're behind James Madison. When you lose on the road to the number 1 team by 4 points, I'm willing to say that they're not as good as the number 1 team. I wouldn't concede anything after that.
There saw a few tweets of some voters saying don't drop them if they were number 3. There's no reason to drop them by losing when they lose by 4 points. So, like, don't drop them. I wouldn't drop them at all. I'd keep them at 3. Again, just like Penn State. What Penn State, I'm sure, dropped a few spots. I mean, that's unnecessary. You don't need to drop any spots to lose to Ohio State by 1 like that. So, polls are meaningless, I think. So.
Oh, I think now Penn State is 5-6 in whiteout night games.
Do the black stuff.
But I think 2 of their wins have been over like top 5 ranked Ohio State teams.
I mean, white it out when it's a big one.
Second, you have an answer on the Red River shootout / rivalry / game that's going to be played at the Cotton Bowl on what channel it's on?
I think it's on Fox.
It doesn't say anything yet.
Which I assume.
But I would assume I would assume it's on Fox. But it does not say. It does not say, and that surprises me.
I would assume it's Fox.
Well, let's check out what Fox has here.
The other thing we missed, we talked to baseball, we talked to college football, we talked to Joe Mauer.
Vikings lost on Thursday in a tough one at the Rams.
You still think they have the best defense in the league, Crins?
Yes.
I think they have the most talented defense in the league. I don't know why they're not playing that well right now.
The execution. I didn't see the game, so I can't talk, but I'll talk. Anthony Barr was Anthony Barr, what is he doing anything? I mean, what
No, I mean, that was great design. I'm not going to fault Anthony Barr entirely. I mean, if you get matched up with Brandon Cooks and Todd Gurley, I mean, that's a great job by by Sean McVay there. But, I mean, it just shows how slow Anthony Barr is. And Jared Goff played out of his mind. There were a couple throws that he just put right on the money. But, I mean, still, this Vikings defense.
The secondary, or what happened to the secondary?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. And hopefully.
Zimmer said something like, this is the worst pass defense he's ever had. It's like, what the hell?
I would say he's probably right. So hopefully shit changes in a hurry because Chicago looks pretty good. And yes, Texas OU is on Fox.
I will answer that with saying, who has Chicago played?
Well, they've played Arizona.
Green Bay. But they didn't win.
Green Bay. Yeah. Played Seattle. Seattle's no good. Played Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's no good.
Yeah. Real quick, just wanted to say how that's – I mean, I think we probably all kind of saw this maybe happening, but how Seattle, other than San Francisco, had like the best roster and the best team in the NFL, won the Super Bowl, should have won the following year against the Patriots. And it was like, well, how many more are they going to win? And like, clearly they're just done. I mean, like, I'm not saying they won't be in one like 3 years from now, but it's not going to be with like this exact roster. It's going to have to look a lot different.
Seattle's like top 5 pick bad, I would say, this year. They're maybe top 10 pick bad. Like they seem like
top 5. Yeah, I would say top 10.
6 and 10. The Falcons stack, and they appear to be 1-3. They appear to be the most unlucky team going at the moment.
Well, they've been decimated by injuries on the defensive side of the football. I mean, last second loss here to the Bengals. So I would. They aren't as bad as their record says it is, but I think Bill Parcells.
Oh, I've got a stat for you, Stackin. I've got a stat for you.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying their injuries.
That agrees with your statement. Yes.
Injuries have killed them on the defensive side of the football. Matt Ryan's playing really well. Calvin Ridley looks like something special. So the offense is unfortunately just going to have to outscore people. And so I do think that the Falcons have been snake bitten by the defense. And, give credit to the Bengals, though. I said this is a show me game for the Bengals. I wanted them, if you are truly going to be the team to beat in the AFC North, want you to
the Norris division.
Yeah. I want to see that you can win a game on the road. I want to see you outscore the high-flying Falcons, and Andy Dalton did it. He did it. So
he did it.
He did it. Joe Mixon.
Here's the stat. We're going to go back 80 years, stacking.
Okay.
That's a large sample size.
A very large sample size.
So I would have been a freshman in high school then.
Yes, 1940, stacking before he got back from fucking Germany.
Before the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor.
Oh, maybe it was kindergarten. Might have been in kindergarten. Sorry, there's quite the gap in there.
Since 1940, NFL teams that have scored at least 36-plus points at home and don't turn it over. So if you're at home, that's good.
So the Falcons didn't turn it over today either?
Didn't turn it over. They scored 36-plus points at home. Stacking. Charlie, this thing has happened 406 times in the last 80 years. 406 times.
That's a lot of times.
How many times has a team lost?
I'll say 0.
I'll say 1 because the Falcons did today.
Well, yeah, after, of course, like today. But prior to that, 0.
It's happened 4 times, Stacking.
Ah, damn it.
And are all 4 of them in the last 5 years?
The last 2 of them are the Falcons the last 2 weeks.
Holy shit, yeah, that's right.
It had happened 2 times in 80 years. You're at home. You don't turn it over. You score a shit ton of points.
Do you have who the other 2 are?
I do not. See if I can find it. I mean, you talk about,
Snake.
Well, I believe, let's see. If you up the points to 37-plus,
the
Steelers were the last team to do that, and that was, 2 weeks ago? Whatever game that was.
Yeah, against the Chiefs, 42-37.
So they did that as well. So
that's
a lot
3 of the 4. So when I'm saying that all 4 were in the last 5 years, I'm off to a strong start.
A lot of teams that, it's very odd games. Very, very odd games. So, not great right there. Any other notes of note?
I'm sad Traxler's not here, but let's get your Stanley Cup
oh, fuck. Yeah, when's the season?
Because the NHL season apparently starts on Wednesday. Capitals are hoisting the banner up, so going to be a great day in D.C. And
who won the NHL last year?
What?
Who won the Stanley Cup?
The Washington Capitals.
Okay, that's right. I kind of remember that now.
Remember, because Alex Ovechkin went on like a 2-week binger.
Well, they did. Yeah, that was disgusting. They beat Vegas, right?
They did, yes. So, apparently the hockey season starts. So, give me your Stanley Cup final picks.
Columbus over San Jose.
Ooh, okay. You know what? In all honesty,
you thought I wouldn't have an answer that fast.
You thought
I didn't even know that there was an NHL team in Columbus.
Little birdie told me just before the show that there was a team in there. But San Jose is actually not a bad pick. They got Carlson from Ottawa in the offseason. He's a pretty big addition. He has some
tight end for the Viking?
No, not John Carlson. But there is some baggage. Fuck you. I didn't start Alex Collins today. He just catches a touchdown. Anyway, so San Jose is actually a pretty legit team here this year. They're going to be right up there, and I could certainly see Columbus in there as well. So thinking outside the box, Charlie, I like it. How about you, Krins?
There are 3 teams stacking that lead the pack here that are plus 800, the best odds to win the Cup. Who would those 3 teams be? Do you think?
I would have to say Washington.
Nope.
Is Pittsburgh?
Nope.
Right, if you get the next one wrong, then I get 3 guesses.
Okay. Let's go with the Golden Knights.
No, Charlie, you're up.
I will base mine off who the best teams were in the PlayStation 2 game NHL Hits,
Colorado,
which was essentially the NHL version of NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, where you only had, I think, 2 or 3 players and a goalie that you didn't control. And if you checked a guy enough, you'd get in a fight with them, and whoever lost the fight was out for the rest of the game and couldn't play.
Yes.
It was my favorite hockey game ever. What?
Wasn't Wayne Gretzky on the cover?
No, this was later than Wayne Gretzky. This was a PlayStation 2 game. So my first guess will be the Colorado Avalanche.
No.
My second guess will be the Detroit Red Wings.
No.
And my third guess, I'm trying to remember who else was good on NHL Hits besides those 2 teams. I will say, you know what? Stab in the dark. I'm going to say the Florida Panthers.
No.
Okay, so let me have another 3 guesses here.
What team is
now you get 2 guesses, and then I get 2 guesses.
Oh, 2 guesses. Okay.
What team has the worst odds?
Ooh.
Plus 20,000 to 1.
Probably the Arizona Coyotes.
Ottawa.
Okay.
Close. I was going to guess Edmonton. That's the right country, at least.
Followed by Detroit. Do better, Detroit.
Yep. Detroit's really, really bad.
Back in 2.
Okay, so I get 2 guesses here. Let's go with. Let's try it. The Winnipeg Jets.
Yes.
Okay. Is the other team in the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference?
I don't know.
Oh shit.
I do know, but I can't say.
Okay. Let's go with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yes.
Boom.
Winnipeg, Tampa Bay. Charlie?
Boy.
My guess would either be Chicago.
Nope.
Or I forget which city, the one in Tennessee. I don't know if they're in Memphis or Nashville.
Nashville.
No.
Not doing good with my hockey picks.
Toronto would be the other one. Toronto.
Oh, God, yeah. Toronto's good, too.
How come they're the Maple Leafs? Shouldn't it be Maple Leaves with a V? Do they not know how to speak properly in Canada?
You're not.
French. Where's Boston on there?
Gander.
And do I even want to know where the Wild are at?
Boston's a ways down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
If you want to know where the Wild are at, Stacking, you have to read the children's book Where the Wild Things Are, and that will give you the answer.
Well done.
Boston's 9th. Minnesota's in the bottom dozen or so.
Yep. Could be a long year for
well, let's see. It's going to be Vegas, obviously, and Pittsburgh again. Yeah, Vegas and Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's what's got to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Your pick.
My picks. I will go with the Toronto Maple Leafs out of the East.
Ooh.
And I will go with, in the West, Las Vegas will be good. I will go with, though,
the UTEP Miners. Oh, wait, never mind. That's a college team.
Let's go with the. All right, let's try the Predators.
Nashville and Toronto.
Stacking, last NHL question. You have to say which coach / manager will be the first one to be fired this year.
Oh,
That would be.
And if you don't know name, you can just say team. I don't know if you know the name of every coach. Maybe you do.
I don't.
I definitely don't.
I know it won't be Joe Quenneville with Chicago. So let's go with. It'll be a team that's expecting to do something. It's not Arizona.
Like LeBron plays tonight on ESPN.
Yes, he does.
Oh, that's something to watch.
Let's go with the Carolina Hurricanes head coach. Because apparently Carolina is supposed to be somewhat good this year.
Did you watch Game of Thrones or whatever you had to do with that?
I did. Yep, I saw the season 7 finale. Quite the shocking revelation.
When this show comes back next year?
Yeah, it won't be back until 2019. I don't know the specific date. Probably in like April.
Okay, odds-on favorite here, the first to perish. There's somebody who looks like their odds, whatever the fuck this person's name is
my guess would be Jamie Lannister.
Who?
Jamie Lannister. That's my guess.
Okay.
For who they would have. What's your guess, Stackin?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Who's the wildling that with the beard?
Tormund Giantsbane, the redheaded guy.
I mean, I assume he's dead, right?
I don't know. Unclear.
Yara Greyjoy?
Oh, yeah. That's a reasonable guess.
Yep.
I forgot about her.
Theon Greyjoy?
She was captured and is being held hostage, so it would make sense that the person being held hostage might die.
Well, Theon, though, is the boy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's her brother.
Yeah. I mean, he
it would also make sense if Theon died, who's trying to help her not be kidnapped anymore.
I fear that it's going to end with Cersei ruling over the Iron Eye, or like ruling over, and it's going to just piss everyone off. So it'll have an ending kind of like The Sopranos, when The Sopranos just went to dark and everyone's like, "What the hell is this?" And that's how Game of Thrones is going to end. Cersei is going to rule, and people are going to be pissed.
My fear is it would be like just almost everyone dies, and it's like I'm blanking on the guy's name. The bastard who was the boat rower who came back for the 1 or 2 episodes. Robert Baratheon's bastard child from early. That like he will be the god on the throne because he's the only one with any royal blood, and like everybody else on the show that you care about's dead. And it's like, well, I guess it's him. Who knows what's going to happen now? I mean, that's what I hope does not happen.
I would love it if Khaleesi would be the one at the end, like she and Jon would rule the day. But I hope that once they find out, because I don't want to spoil it for you, Chris. I know you're going to be watching it here at some point.
It seems very complicated to me.
There's a lot of stuff going on. It's more that there's just I've never seen a show that even close to has as many characters as this show does.
Yeah.
Where so many this isn't an exaggeration either. Like there were main principal top 5, top 6 most important characters who never were in the same room and never met till season 7.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, so Charlie, spoiler alert, do you believe that Khaleesi and Jon Snow will stay together after they find out?
Well, they got to find out first, Stack. They got to find out.
Gut reaction is that yes, they will. That's my gut reaction, but I don't know. We'll see.
But if Jaime and Cersei can do it, I think, given their relationship, Jon and the Mother of Dragons can as well.
It's politics where you just point and you'd be like, we're not as bad as those ones, so this isn't that big of a deal then.
Exactly. And be like, West Virginia hasn't been created yet, so.
West Virginia. Have you seen the golf, Stack? And the golf was very early.
Yes. Thought the U.S. might make a comeback there, but
Phil Mickelson was awful, as was Tiger Woods. And how about who is it?
Ian Poulter?
No, I'm not.
Francisco Molinari.
Yeah, Francisco Molinari. Thank you. He was phenomenal. So, well done by him. That course looked. Bottom line here, I think I heard the stat that out of everyone on the U.S., the best ranked driver for the 2018 season was 93rd. So
for the U.S.
Yeah, for the U.S. So in driving accuracy. So this rough was very unforgiving here. So it's like U.S. Open rough. So if you can't hit the ball in the damn fairway, you aren't going to really have a great chance. And that appears to be what really killed the U.S. in this one, was their inability to keep a drive in the fairway.
Seems like they care more than the U.S.
Team Europe?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
it means more to them. I like the whole thing. They get so goddamn excited about this.
I think you would have saw the same. I mean, 2 years ago at Hazeltine, I think the Americans were pretty amped. I think it means a lot more when it's on your home turf. I mean, not that it doesn't mean as much to the other team, but I think you just get amped up a little bit more when you have essentially the home crowd. So
why can't golf be like that more? Why is it always got to be like it is?
When John Rahm made his putt on 16 to win his match against Tiger, he just went ballistic. Like, he just went nuts. And then he comes back and shakes Tiger's hand, and Tiger's smiling and everything. And I remarked to my father-in-law, I said, like, if this happened at the John Deere Classic or the Waste Management Open, can you imagine the outrage that there would be amongst golf fans? But the Ryder Cup, it's different for that reason. So
it means more, Charlie. It means more.
It just means more. That's just in the United States and the South, they run the SEC ads. In Europe, they run the Ryder Cup ads. That it just means more.
Can we have the what is the college North and South, like the Senior Bowl?
Hey.
There's a whole bunch of them. One of them's the Senior Bowl. I don't remember the name of all of them.
Shriners or whatever the fuck it is.
And there's the Shrine Bowl. There's like two other ones. And there's high school ones, and I get mixed up which ones are the high school ones and which ones are the college ones.
Yeah.
Are you saying that's what we need to do in the U.S. is have a North and South U.S. Cup? Or if you're north of the Mason-Dixon line, you're on one team, and south of it, you're on a different one. Wearing the colors that we wore during the Civil War to really bring out those old-fashioned feelings about people. I'm sure nothing could go wrong if we did that.
Open up those Civil War wounds, I say. That's my opinion.
We might as well. We were on the winning side. We can do it all we want.
That's right. There we go. Stacking anything else?
No, the golf was good. Jimmy Butler is still a Timberwolf. Don't know how.
I think the Vikings win next week.
I hope you're right.
Is tonight the first week or the first NBA game?
I think so.
No,
they've had a couple against like international teams or whatever.
This is like the first where it's actually the season and it counts.
No, this is not. This is preseason.
Oh, this is preseason still. Okay. Never mind then. I was going to say we got to do NBA picks then, but if it's still preseason, then we do not have to do NBA picks yet.
A couple weeks for that. I thought Kirk Cousins. Real fucking deal here. This guy.
Yes, but he can't fumble the ball.
Well, you got. I know he's got a fumbling problem, but fucking this offensive line is as bad as it was 2 years ago. So this is going to be.
What was the final score of the game?
38-31.
Like the NFL's changed, and we can't look at it the same way we did 15 years ago. But if you score 31 points on the road and have as talented of a defense as the Vikings do, you should be able to win.
Yeah, and that's what makes it all the more disappointing is that Kirk Cousins does all this. To me,
like, because going into the game, no one was picking the Vikings to win. I wasn't picking the Vikings to win. And for them to have a chance at the end, and then for Kirk Cousins to get strip sacked, it immediately reminded me of the Thursday night game, 3 years ago, when Teddy Bridgewater led the Vikings to Arizona on a Thursday night, and they had a chance to tie the game at the end, and he got strip sacked in Cardinal territory. It's like, it's just the false hope. I'm just so sick of it, and hopefully Zimmer can get that defense going here, but they have not looked good all year. It's perplexing to say the least.
So yeah, it sounded like a good game. Sounded like everybody enjoyed it. Good, entertaining game.
It was. It was very entertaining.
Rams should wear those jerseys.
The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. The Rams are winning the Super Bowl. I'm going to call that against the Jaguars.
Patriots.
Jaguars.
Those uniforms.
Cleveland Brown.
There you go.
They aren't screwed by the.
Yeah, no, I agree that the Rams should always wear those uniforms.
Jesus.
I like the white helmets better than the helmets they wore, but I agree on the shorts. They're the pants and the jerseys.
That done. There we go, folks. Lounge 264. Before we talk baseball and put the kid asleep one more time, enjoy the baseball here for the next week. The month of October, Stacking. It's October baseball, and the World Series will be done no later than Halloween. So no November baseball this year.
That's great.
It starts October 1st, can end no later than October 31st. So
conspiracy theory: Derek Jeter wants to be the only Mr. November, so that's why they don't play games in November anymore.
There we go. He's got that power. Marlins owner. Not only did he trade Stanton, but he also traded the likely National League MVP. So good job, owner Jeter. For the record, Stacking, I would pick DeGrom for MVP, but I think Christian Yelich will win it.
Well, he's for sure the Cy Young Award winner, though, right?
Oh, no debate there. I would vote for him for MVP. I think it's a weak MVP class. But
10 wins. Would that be the fewest by a Cy Young Award winner ever?
Yes.
Amazing.
Trout and Betts are 1 and 2.
Where is Chris Davis going to end up in the MVP voting?
The Oakland Chris Davis or the Baltimore one?
The Oakland one. Isn't that the guy that's hitting 40 plus home runs each of the last 3 or 4 years?
Probably top 10, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10. Chris Davis for the Orioles had maybe the worst season of all time. So,
how bad was it?
Oh, you want to know how bad this fucking guy was? Holy.
Well, I mean, I didn't care until you said maybe the worst season of all time, and then it was my interest.
So it sounds like it's the epitome, or it was the Baltimore Orioles season in a nutshell.
It was the Cleveland Spiders from 1899 bad.
Oh, yes.
He hit 168. The bad thing is he played 128 games, so he played a lot of games. It's the worst batting average in MLB history.
Yeah, that's bad. I was going to say, we've all seen guys with batting averages that bad, but they only play 3 weeks worth of games.
His OPS plus, if it's 100, that's average. It was at 50. It was half of the average.
What was his batting average again?
168.
So that would be a fourth then, if it's supposed to be half the league average.
It would be very bad.
What's his OPS?
539. His on base was 243. It's approximately
a 243 on. So he doesn't even get on base a quarter of the time.
Normal on base is 320. So slugging was under 300. This from a man who finished third in the MVP voting 5 years ago, who hit 53 home runs, had 138 RBIs, signed a massive contract. He is only owed $23 million next year and the year after and the year after and the year after. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He is owed $92 million for the next 3 years.
Well, I assume they'll keep him, though, on the team, won't they?
Kick him off the team? Cut him?
No, I'm saying they'll keep him.
Oh, yeah, they have to. I mean, they'll pay him that His WAR, for those interested in WAR, it was -3.
No.
His WAR was a -3.
I mean, I'm sure there's other guys with negative WARs, but I only pay attention to the guys who are good enough to have positive WARs. So I've never heard of a guy with a negative WAR. Well, like I said, I'm sure
the worst one ever is
negative.
-2.8.
Embrace debate. Who's had the bigger fall from grace, Chris Davis or Adam Dunn from when he was like pretty good? Then all of a sudden,
I would say this guy. I would say third in the MVP voting 5 years ago to one of the.
Yeah, when you literally have the worst batting average ever for a season, it's tough to say that someone else was worse.
Only 17 players have ever had a lower than 200 average while qualifying for the batting title. It was the 12th lowest on base ever, the 33rd lowest OPS plus of 50. Davis had one of the 13 worst all-around seasons in baseball by WAR.
How many home runs and RBIs did he have for the year?
What did he have? 16 and 49. This
16's not good, but 16 you could be like, well, but only 49 RBIs is bad.
This coming from a guy who hit 53 5 years ago.
How old is he?
32. He had 200-plus strikeouts a couple of years ago. He was just over 190 these past 2 years. Literally one of the 10, 15 worst seasons of all time. Just the complete shits.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, I would like to just point out that I did win the baseball pick'em this year with the best record that I think that we've had in the 4 years we've done this.
Do you know what that is, that record?
Yes, I have it here. It was, I don't think it included today's game, but right now it says 110 and 58.
It's pretty good.
Back to 2015, Marcus won it with 96. 2016, David won it with 99. And last year, Evan won it with 92. So
absurd.
Sackey, did you just steal my thing of find the three worst teams and pick whoever they're playing each week?
I did that in large part, yeah. I mean,
that's what I do until there's a point where I forget one day and I'm just like, oh my God, I got to do this real fast. And then I pick like 6 teams in a row without checking the schedule at all.
Oh, I did this, like, I picked most of them at the beginning of the season and then just kind of put in as like some various teams. Like I had the Twins for my last team, I think since the beginning of the season. So it worked out this year. It's not going to work out next year most likely, but Drew apparently decided to pull Avante Davis and quit at halftime. Maybe Marcus did as well because they didn't have any picks. So
did I finish the year? I honestly don't remember.
You did. You picked the White Sox.
There was a point in August where I knew I wasn't going to win, and I was like, well, I'm just going to do a whole bunch of them. And I didn't remember if I did the last 2 or 3 weeks or not.
Did I miss any weeks?
You did. Let's see here. You did not.
I didn't.
You didn't. No. You both.
I've not checked in many a week.
Nope. So Charlie finished 13 games back. David 11.5, and Travis, you finished 17.5 back. But if that doesn't include today, then I don't know.
I think one of my favorite things with the baseball pick'em is that since you go the games per week, that we don't all have the same number of games, so you get weird half games at the end of the year. And I look at that as a positive. I think it's fun and different.
I like the baseball half games. That's awfully impressive. Right there. There you go. We'll see you next week. More fun and follies. Did we put him asleep again? I think we did.
We might have.
Kid passed out. There we go. He passes out less than Brett Kavanaugh, so we got that going for him. Lounge 265.